can't necessarily say mine all came from happy weight because I met him 2 days after my dad died. So I was just in the messed up states, period. And then right after my dad died, I had an uncle that died 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I remember that. That was rough.
Then I had another one that died like 4 months later. So it was like a whole bunch. So I was like, I can't say for sure if it was happy weight. I was, because I wasn't mourning. Instead of me grieving, I was just kind of focused on their relationship. And their relationship ended. That weight came off so damn fast.
It's funny too. Look, when my mom just died, I honestly thought at first, I said, boy, I'm probably gonna not have an appetite and not eat. That did not happen at all. Like, it did not. I just, in my mind, I thought it, like, because people, like you said, you lose a loved one, you know what I'm saying? That stuff start to change, but the appetite and nothing, it never.
You know what? Like, I know everybody deal with it different, but like the posts and stuff you was making on Instagram, you seem to deal with it okay. Like, I don't know, like, if she was sick prior to, but you seem to have dealt with it well.
I'm still, I think part of it too with me is just that I'm still dealing with it and I don't know how I feel. I think I know how I feel and then something happen and then I'll be like, dang, I didn't know I felt that way. You get what I'm saying? It was like, the best way I can say it, I don't want this to be no damper if I can, but it was like,
you good, bro.
She suddenly died, so it wasn't like we knew it was gonna happen. She just died. But she was sick, but she wasn't sick like I'm finna go. But everything happened so fast. It's like a delayed effect. Cause she died on a Monday. We buried her the next Tuesday. Like, it wasn't like no.
We did ours fast.
You know what I'm saying? So I think with me, I'm a delayed person anyway. So, to be honest, like to be real, like my mama's side, it's a small family. So it was my grandmama. She had 3 girls. So my mom just died this year. My aunt died. Her sister died in 21, and my grandma died in 19. So it's just one aunt left. Oh wow. So I'm the type of person, like, I'm always being there for other people. So then when it happened to me, I'm like, I was telling you about this. I was like, I'm cool. Like, I promise you, I was at the funeral. I'm like, I'm okay. Look, let me tell you. That's the best way for me to explain what I'm going through now. I promise you, I'll feel like I'm fine. And then it'll just, like,
I mean, that's
and then it'll go away, though. It'll just, like a light switch, it'll just go away. So it's kind of like I don't know, like, it's messing my mind up because I can't.
That's the tricky thing about grief. It could be certain stuff that trigger it. Like, in my case, not trying to be a damper. In my case,
triggered.
My dad overdosed.
Okay.
We knew he was on drugs. We knew it was a possibility. But it's like, even when you know it's a possibility, when it happens, it's still shocking.
Yeah.
So I have an older sister. So I'm used to my older sister taking care of everything. You know, she's the oldest, we're 4 years apart, but she doesn't live here. So when my dad died, I was thrown into the oldest position. And I ain't gonna lie, like, I did break down, like, that day, like, when we first found out. And then I was like, I kind of had to hurry up and get it together. So, but I kind of made the mistake of keeping myself in that same mind frame, like, you gotta be strong, you gotta be strong.
That's exactly.
So then when I finally did grieve, I didn't actually grieve until after me and the ex broke up. And when I finally did grieve,
it's hard.
That shit was terrible. I cried every day, probably for like 2 months. And I went to therapy because I couldn't figure out, like, damn, am I crying over this nigga? Am I crying over my daddy?
No, I get you. Yep.
So I couldn't figure it out. So when I went to therapy, my therapist was like, don't feel bad. She was like, you grieving your daddy. She was like, you just did it in the wrong way. I tried to avoid grieving by jumping into a relationship.
Yeah, sometimes, remember I was telling you, I was like, sometimes you just got to rip the Band-Aid off, dog, and just deal with it. We were talking, I forgot what it was. It was off the pivot of that, but it was something that you felt like you needed to do. I think it was grieving. I think that's what we were talking about. It's freezing.
That's yours.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what's up with mine.
And to add to it too, like, I had a dream my mama died 2 days before she died.
Oh, for real?
But man, I'm trying to make a long story less long. Me and my mama didn't necessarily have the best relationship.
Just how me and my dad was.
But it was always love. I was still active in her life, but it never was where she wanted it and where I wanted it. But it's like the relationship was grief. It's like, you know how you love the mess out of somebody, but you know the relationship isn't right, but that love is kind of like y'all anchor. So the relationship not being right, if it wasn't anchored in love, we would have been
When split apart.
You get what I'm saying? But since it kept us having to deal with each other. And so for me, why I say it's weird because me and my mom reconciled right before she died. And what I mean by reconciled, like I've always just been big on don't have nothing in your heart against nobody. You just never know. So like I said, I had a dream the Saturday night that she died, and then she died like that Monday. But the week before, I had to go over her house and help her get off the toilet, which was weird because she never had a problem like that. So when she got off the toilet, I just felt lit. I was like, Mama, I love you. She was like, I love you too. And I kissed her. So that was like the last moment I saw her alive.
No, they say
You know what I'm
everything
saying?
happened for a reason.
I know something weird's happening. Oh no, we good.
But one thing my therapist taught me is
I'm still freezing.
what helped with the grieving process. Of course, you always gonna have like things that trigger you, whether it could be a song, a smell, anything like that. She was like, whatever emotion you feeling, feel it. Like don't try
fight
to
it.
don't try to press it down. Like if she's like, if you angry, be angry. If you
Yeah.
happy, be happy. If you sad, be sad.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. Cause for a minute, like I didn't want to cry. And my friend's like, why you ain't trying to cry? I'm like, man, cause my daddy been gone this long. And she was like, and?
Yeah.
So it was like, what that mean?
You hit the nail on the head. And part of it too was, it's crazy you say that, because this is how crazy I realized I was about my mama dying. I told myself, give it 2 weeks. No, I'm serious. And I believe I'll be out in 2 weeks. But when the 2 weeks passed, I still wasn't okay. So now I'm like,
I'm not on schedule.
I'm like, dang. But I really thought like, okay, you know what I'm saying? She gone and I'm and so the only trigger for me was my daughter loved they had a great relationship, and my mom was all into costume jewelry. So when my mom passed, I got an older sister. I always say, she's my older sister, but she's just like my equal, because we just literally a year apart. She just turned 44 the other day, and I'm going to be 43 at the end of September. But her and my younger sister, when we told my daughter that she passed, the way they did it was they was like, okay, your granny left and went on to heaven, but she left some stuff for you. So they took like my mom's purses and jewelry and gave it to my daughter. So it was hard because when it first happened, she going to school with the jewelry on. So it's just a constant, you get what I'm saying? And then it's all coming out now so I can explain it. I was so overwhelmed with the love and the support. I had to tell people to leave me alone. I didn't want to say that because I knew it was coming from a right place, but it was just overwhelming. So for me, I don't know if you went through this, it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss. How you doing? Oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss. How you doing? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, and then it got to the point to where I shut my phone off and my friends was popping up at my house. And I'm like, man, that's love. But
it get overwhelming.
Let me try to figure this.
I struggle with that. Like when you haven't seen anybody, since they lost a loved one. It's been a month or so. Do you just, I don't want to seem like I'm ignoring the fact that you had trauma, but then I don't want to bring it back up.
Yeah.
So like, how do you gauge on when it's
I
to just be like, hey.
I can't really answer that question because, like, in my case, I was getting upset, which I knew it came from a good place, but I was getting upset because people was telling me, oh, it'll be all right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God, hell, it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
thank you.
That was the part that bothered me. That's what I do.
You don't know how people project things. And
yeah.
I just don't be trying to.
That's what I do. But
I'm going to be real.
That it's going to be all right. That shit got on my nerves so bad. It got on my nerves so bad. And I knew people meant well, so I was trying not to snap. But I'm like, I think the last person that asked me that, I was like, but how do you know that? You know what I'm saying?
Thank
like, because right now, I don't think it's going to be okay.
No, what was pissing me off, like, don't tell me how to feel. To not even how to feel, how to handle it. You need to do this. You don't. That was making me mad. Don't tell me nothing. this is something that I'm going through. I gotta figure this out for me. Like my wife, even her, like don't just. You can say, hey, I'm sorry for your loss, but don't say, hey, you need to get up. I had some people like, hey, bro, you just need to hit the gym
and go do something.
Don't tell me that. Like, cause what if I need to just lay down for 3 days? You don't know. So I'm the type of person like, just, I hate to say it like this, stay in your place. Like, cause my sisters dealt with it worse than me because the way they're handling the grief of our mom dying, people trying to tell them that they shouldn't do it the way they doing it. That stuff be making me mad. Like, how you gonna tell somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like my little sister, she moved to San Diego maybe 5 months before our mom died. So she's dealing with it because she wasn't here when it happened. And then people say, well, you need to come back. You don't know what my sister needs. How you gonna tell her? You get what I'm saying?
My sister is in Tampa. And
okay.
It was a few people that had kind of told her the same thing. And we was like, but what's that gonna change? He's still gonna be dead. Like, it's not gonna change anything.
Nothing.
It sounds harsh, but when you put it in perspective, like whether she moved from Tampa or whether she came from Tampa and stayed for weeks or months after my daddy died, he's still not gonna be here.
Come on.
That's none of that is gonna change. So it was kind of like, why would she move back? Her life not here anymore. It's in Florida. And
this, look, I know since you deal with. How long did this happen with you?
It was a year, July 18th.
It's been a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
And see,
And it seemed like, for me, I guess because I threw myself in a relationship, it seemed to go by. It seemed like it was going fast, and then it was like, as soon as we broke up, it seemed like time kind of stopped. But I think that's because I wasn't grieving.
Okay.
Like, of course, I wanted it to happen, like we cried and all that type of stuff. But I was thrown in the position of making arrangements and all of that. And then plus, I got 2 daughters. So, trying to help my daughter through their grieving process. And even though my mom and my daddy, I have no idea how they had 2 kids. I swear to God, they hate each other. But, like, they had mutual respect for each other.
Yeah.
So, like, my mom grieving, my stepmom's grieving, my little sister grieving. And then it had got to the point where every time I would talk to my sisters, we was talking something about my daddy. Yeah. Whether it was about the autopsy or whether it was about the funeral. That it had just got so overwhelming. I was just like, I'm okay. Like, I really convinced myself that I was okay.
Yeah. People asking you that, but asking me that too. Like, did you get the autopsy? I don't give a crap about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you'd be surprised.
You would be surprised.
But you know what? I'm gonna be real with y'all. But this is what I think it is, because people have anxiety and we've been taught somehow that we're supposed to know what to say, and people just start having diarrhea at the mouth, just saying all
a lot of
kind
people.
of stuff.
I think there's a problem with a lot of people. No matter what it is, they just do what they've seen other people do. They don't understand what it means. They don't research. They don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that you can't treat every situation the same. And I had to learn that from a friend of mine. She taught me that because I was responding to some issues that she was having in a way that she didn't like, and I had to respect it. And she let me know, like, sometimes, I'll tell you what I was doing to try to empathize with someone. I'll try to relate to them. So yeah, when this happened to me, blah 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 blah, just offering help, but she didn't want to hear none of that shit. She was like, just say, yeah, all right, it's fucked up. She just wanted to vent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta respect it.
I went through that.
Yeah. And two, it ain't really no way, like, kind of back to your question, it ain't really no textbook way to deal with somebody who lost something. I just respect the real. So however you are, like I said, how some of my friends just popped up, I didn't like it, but that's who they are, so I respected it. Like, nah, man, he really care about me. He like chops. I called you, your phone was off. I was concerned. I'm coming.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't want to be bothered, but he was being him. I'm cool with anybody being who they are, but once you start like getting out of who you are, thinking you got to be this way to help me, I don't like that. Like, don't be yourself. Like, so if you want to text me and be like, I'm gonna text you tomorrow, Chops. You get what I'm saying? Like, if that's our relationship, then I can respect that. But don't call me every day, and you don't even call me every day anyway. Yeah.
The question that I did appreciate that people asked was, they weren't like, oh, you're gonna be okay, or you always had them people that ask like, how did they die? I think that I hate that question.
Okay, let me ask you this. So I asked that question.
Personal.
Yeah.
I want to ask that question at times, but not for the nosy aspect. When somebody asks me to sing, I always struggle with trying to figure the correct way to ask them how the person died, because there's certain ways that people die. I'm not going to the funeral. I don't want to be a part of the shit.
I think it depends on the relationship with the person.
But most times I don't have
Like
one.
me and you have been, but like when I called you, you didn't really have to ask me no questions. I literally spit it out like immediately. But I think it depends on the relationship with the person.
Yeah,
Like in my
think
case,
so too.
I appreciate it when people just ask me, "How are you?" Or if they just ask me, "What do you need me to do?" That was like the best question. Like even when I talked to you, like you didn't even know, but it was crazy because I was calling to ask him, can he sing at the funeral? He didn't even know that my dad had passed it. Like this is how far we jumped into it. Literally, he passed the 18th. That next day, I was calling him like, can you sing at the funeral? Yeah. Like he hadn't even seen the poster or nothing yet. Because we was like, we got to do boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So even when I spit everything out for him, he was just like, where do you need me to be? Like, what do you need me to do? I think that's like really the best question.
Yeah, what do you need?
Because I may just need you to be like, man, can you go get me a soda? Or can you go pick up, like, I think when Aisha asked me, when Aisha was in town, she was like, what you need me to do? I was like, I just need you to take Nana to the store for me. Yeah. Like, that would save my life right now if you can just take her to go buy some shoes. You might need some
alone time. Or,
I felt weird asking you to sing at my mom's funeral only because you my friend. And I'm like, it just seemed weird to be like, I want to ask my friend, even though I needed him to do it. I was like, if I just wanted to sit and, just be on my team. Man. But you was real good about it.
I kept hitting him with songs that he didn't know the words to it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, look, I got a small pack. We can run through these.
After
we get through there, I don't know what to do.
I'm texting him. He called me. He said, Fetty, let me tell you, I'm not a gospel singer, Fetty.
Yeah, I'm an R&B nigga. I ain't even that for real, but in terms of singing,
But see, this is therapeutic for me because I thought about doing counseling, but I need to vent at my own comfortable pace, and I don't want to be bombarded with questions. Like this is helping me because the more I speak about it, the more I kind of think. Even not only release because. Man, the podcast, it is what it is today.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm telling y'all, the way it happened was so surreal. Like, I just got, look, y'all know how I am about my little braids, right? I've been growing my little, you know what I'm saying? So I left the girl just braided my hair. I'm hype. I'm like, I'm starting to get a little hang time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling myself. Then my stepdaddy called me like, I need to take your mama to the hospital, but she don't want to go. My mama's stubborn. So it's like, I'm like, all right. So I'm like, we got to the point where I was like, well, if she don't want to go, we can't make her go. I'm like, like I said, I didn't think she was going to, pass away, but it was like, just let her stay there. He was like, all right. So then he called later on. I had picked my kids up from school, and he called, my sister had called, and then my stepdaddy called. He's like, I just called the ambulance to come look at your mama. I'm like, okay. So I was on the phone with my sister, clicked over. She's like, I'm already on my way over there. So I had just picked up my kids from school and I had to figure out where they could go so I can go see. And the surreal moment of it was my mama stayed like by Riverview High School off Lilac and 270. So I dropped my kids off at my dad's house. I'm shooting to get to my mama's house. It's a quick trip on Lilac. Mm-hmm. My mama lives 4 minutes from the quick trip. Soon as I get the quick trip, my sister called, like, she gone. Like, oh, wow. Like, it just was, I was like, what? You get what I'm saying? I'm like, what? So I feel like I was in the haze from that moment until maybe when I had that anxiety attack in the middle of the night. Because it just didn't make no, it made sense, but it didn't make no sense. It don't seem real. Yeah, I was like, that's what it was for me. My brain was purposely rejecting the idea that she was gone. So no matter how much I tried to say my brain was like, nah. You know what I'm saying?
I did the exact same thing. We were looking for my dad. Like we had a group text message. It was me and both my sisters in it. And my little sister came to text message and she was like, has anybody talked to Daddy? Now for me, it's not rare for me to talk. it's not weird for me not to talk to him because I had kind of was like, for my own mental sanity, I had kind of distanced myself from him. Because now, when I say this, it's going to sound funny, but I'm the type of person where it don't matter what drug you on. If it's not weed, I label you a crackhead. I know that's terrible. I know that's terrible, but that's what I do. And my dad was getting to that point where he was acting very crackheadish. Like, he was only calling me, like, if he wanted some money or something like that. Man. So it was like, for my own mental sanity, I had to be like, look, bro, like, I can't do this right now. So the last time I had a really good conversation with him, it was like May 25th. It was my daughter's birthday. He didn't ask me for no money. He was asking me about her school because she was getting inducted in the National Honor Society. After that, I hadn't talked to him, but I knew, like, you know, he was getting bad. Like, he had OD'd a couple times and everything. So my sister was like, hey, she came into town, she saw him, and she happened to see him one day when he was high. So she was like, hey, we're going to have to start going down there to check on him. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. And they was like, why? And I had a fear that I was going to be the one to go down there and find him. So I was like, I'm never going to do that.
Yep.
So they understood. They was like, you know what? I get it. So I had finally got to the point where I had told some of my friends, and they was like, you should go down there. Whenever you get ready to go, I'll go with you. But in my mind, like, I do not want nobody to come down here with me on the west side and see my, you know, like, see my daddy like that. So I didn't go. So anyway, now it's July. My sister comes in the text message. She was like, anybody talk to daddy? We all like, no. So now both of them are kind of realizing it's been a couple of days since we talked to him. So we calling his phone and it's ringing, but nobody's answering. And it's ringing. So we like, okay. So we trying to call his best friend. My sister calls his girlfriend. Long story short, it's like, this is going on for some hours. Long story short, somebody finally answers his phone. But we got to hold his best friend. His best friend like, I'm going to go down there. My sister talks to his girlfriend, and she like, I'm going to go down there.
Okay.
Long story short, somebody called his phone. Somebody finally answers his phone and was like, oh, Brian passed out, the ambulance on the way here. And where he lived on the west side, it was quicker to go to the fire department and get the ambulance than to call. That's how close the ambulance is, like literally a block away. So when they doing that, we all on 3 different phones, 3 different areas. Older sister in Tampa, younger sister is not that far from 2.0. I'm at home, and my brother-in-law happens to be in town. So we all coming from 3 different ways. We all like, I'm on my way. So I'm driving there. I got off the phone with my sister. I said, I got to focus on driving. He on the west side, so I'm like, all right, I'm finna hit the circle, go down Goodfellow, boom, I'm gonna be there.
Right.
My sister calls me back right when I'm at, like, I was at Goodfellow and Martin Luther King. So I'm only a few blocks away. So she asking me, she on 3 different phones. She on her phone, my niece's cell phone, and somebody else, and another phone. So on one phone is me, the other phone is my daddy girlfriend, and then my brother-in-law. So, you know, she asking us where we all at. But we're not talking to my little sister, though, because I ain't trying to call nobody. I'm trying to focus on driving. When I tell y'all, every light I ran, all of them. So I hear my daddy girlfriends come on the phone. Now, mind you, at this point, I'm literally 2 blocks away. My sister said, Jenna, where you at? I said, I'm at Goodfellow and Martin Luther King. My daddy live right by Friendly Temple.
Okay.
She says, okay. I hear my daddy girlfriend comes on the phone, and she says in a very calm voice, she says, Rachel? My sister said, what's wrong, Miss Sherry? Like, she knew something was off. She said, Rachel, they said, she was like, Rachel, he gone, baby. I'm sorry. And my sister was like, what? I'm hearing her. But at the same time, I'm going down the street, and now I see the ambulance lights.
Yeah.
So I don't know she's in the house with him, because he wasn't at his house. He was literally right around the corner.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know that she's in the house with him. So I'm thinking, she don't know what she's talking about. Like, the ambulance is here. So my mind is telling me the ambulance is here. They're here to save him. You know what I'm saying? So my mind is literally telling me she don't know what we're talking about. So I heard my sister start crying, and I'm like, what you crying for? Like, the ambulance is right here. So I get out the car. I pull up behind the ambulance, and I get out the car, and I'm walking around. At the same time, I'm walking around because I'm thinking he in the back of the ambulance. This is literally my brain telling me this. And mind you, I didn't heard this lady say he gone.
You kind of in disbelief?
So I walk around to the back of the ambulance, and just when I'm about to try to look in there, the EMT comes out the door. I'm calm as hell, y'all. I'm like, I think y'all was here for my daddy. I was like, where is he?
Right.
They was like, and he didn't even ask me nothing. He was just like, I'm sorry, your father's gone. And that's when I lost it. And then while I'm trying to process this, my little sister pulls up. She did the same thing I did. She go running for the ambulance. So I don't get a chance to tell her. The EMT tells her.
Telling her. Yeah.
Oh wow!
All of a sudden, she just let out this scream, and she come running towards me, and she grabbed me so tight, like I literally almost fell.
Yeah.
Then my brother-in-law pulls up, like everybody's like kind of pulling
Everybody
up.
kind of got there at the same time.
The shit was so crazy because this literally just happened, and the EMTs is like, "So what funeral home?" I'm like, "The hell."
My mind is not there.
I'm like, wait a minute. And then, so I didn't know that apparently when the person passes, like especially in that type of situation, they call, you know how you see on TV, the coroner comes out.
Yeah. They came and got
They
my
don't
mama.
do that. In this case, they didn't do that. My dad died in the city. It may be different in the county. I don't know.
The funeral home came and got my mama.
They call the coroner. Well, they call city morgue. City morgue, they tell them like the nature of the death, like where he was found at. They decide if they want to come get him, like if they want to do an autopsy, or if they're just going to let him go with the funeral home.
Right.
So while they're making that decision, the EMTs can leave, but the police have to stay. So we were literally out there at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning waiting on City Morgue to decide if they were going to get him or not.
Right.
At the same time, we had already called a mortuary. So they there, and they like, oh, we need you to sign this. You got to do that. You got to do that. And I'm like,
Everything.
what?
We
I
grieving
said,
this business.
Right.
That's
It be the
man,
business.
keep going. It's weird in those situations because to do that, you have to detach yourself from emotion. But as the person in the situation, you're like, motherfucker,
Bro.
I couldn't.
I'm grieving. You don't see what
They came and got my mama. This the crazy part. I pulled up. My mama was on the floor. The police was in the living room. And I said, they had her cover the sheet over her. They was like, you want me to take it off? I said, nope. I don't want to see her no other way than when I last seen her. So I was probably there for like 15 minutes. This is what made it so crazy about like everything was going so fast. I started crying a little bit. I walked outside, talking to the police or whatever. So I'm talking to him. Funeral home pulled up. So as they moving the body, that's when I broke down. Like it happened that fast.
See, I didn't go in. He was in somebody's house. I didn't go. I didn't go in the house because I didn't want to see him like that.
Yeah, that's a real.
And then it was the kind of house. It was the nature of the house that he was found in. So they asking me all these questions, and reality is not hitting me that I'm the oldest living. I'm the oldest one there.
here.
So you
like,
don't
even though
register.
my uncle's there. So they asking me all these questions. Then I got my uncle calling me. I was like, wait a minute. So I was like, y'all, wait, I got to step away. So I walked to my car. I called my sister, and I lost it.
Yeah.
I don't know how she remained calm. She said, Gina, you can do this. She was like, I'm not there. I need you to get a hold of yourself. And she was like, I need you to tell me what they're telling you. And you're going to have to handle it until I get there. I sat in the car for like 10 minutes, just crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
And I got out the car. Because they were still talking to me when I was walking away. Like, the mortuary was like, I need you to do so-and-so. My uncle like so-and-so. I was like, hey, look, y'all, I was like, I need a minute. So I would have got, if I was a smoker, I probably would have smoked like 8 blunts.
Yeah.
I was like, I need a minute. So I break down to my sister. She was like, you could do this. And then she changed it. She was like, Gina, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a choice right now. You have to do this. So I got the car, did everything I had to do. City Morgue did not finally call back, I want to say, until like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and said they were going to come get him. After they said they were going to come, it still took like an hour. Dang. And mind you, my youngest daughter is at home. She doesn't know.
Yeah.
But my oldest daughter knows because she's in Florida with my sister.
Okay.
So I have to call my oldest daughter, like, do not call your sister. But her natural reaction is, I'm the big sister. I got to make sure my little sister
is cool.
So
Yeah.
I'm telling her, like, you can't call her. I'm not at home.
Yeah.
So they finally do everything. It's about 3, 4 o'clock in the
So
morning.
where is the body at this point?
It's still in the house. It's still in the house.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And the crazy part about it, like, I commended my daddy girlfriend. She stayed in this house with him the whole time. And when I say it's a crack house.
Oh wow.
So when I say this house is trifling.
Oh, wow.
She stayed in there with him the whole time. She did not come out the house until they came and picked him up.
Mm-hmm. One of the realest things, though, that I learned with that is, which is true, I'm going to say 2 parts. I felt like the biggest hypocrite when my mama died. I think I said this before. Mm-hmm. Because when people lost their parents, I used to be like, it's okay. You can. I promise, I'm not lying. So I used to be like, keep it pushing. Happened to me, it was like, okay, I get it.
It was like world stop.
Yeah, I promise you that I ain't gonna say I didn't have any compassion. I didn't have a lot of compassion. I just didn't understand. And so it's true, like until it happened to you, you can't even let nobody really understand until it actually happens to you.
I think that's why I was getting mad when people was telling me they know how I feel. And I was like, no, you
don't. Unless
I'm like, you got your mama and your daddy still. You don't know how I feel. Like, don't say that.
And it's different. Like, I even was thinking about this idea, bro. Like, would I have rathered her suddenly pass or them situations where they're like, okay, you got 3 months to live.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a chance to... You know, like some people like get a diagnosis. Yeah, you get a chance to process and still see them and make peace with it. Like, which is it's still grief either way it goes. But does the trauma come from the sudden?
No,
you get what I'm saying?
I think it's gonna be
it's traumatic either way.
But that's funny because I just had a conversation with my friend earlier today, and we talked about that. If you were in a situation like that, and would you want to know you only got like 3 months to live?
So
or would you rather not?
Okay, so this is a fight in this house. Because this motherfucker says that she wouldn't even tell me. And I have a problem with that. I have a real problem
with ever or
not until I know there's nothing, because I know this man and he will not be the same from the time that news is had until the time I'm no longer breathing.
Well,
so I am not going to take
I'm not the same, period, after that.
I'm just saying, but I'm going to prolong his happiness as long as I can. So if I know it's no coming back, then I'm going to give him time to process this.
Okay.
But it would be my preference not to tell him. But I know
I don't like that.
how he feels. I know I would have to tell him now, but I wouldn't tell anyone.
Now, do you feel like that's the right?
But do you want to know that
you
yourself,
got that right?
though?
No, she has that right.
Like I said.
The person has the right. I just don't like it.
Would you want to know that for yourself, though? Like, you going to the doctor, you have an illness or whatever, and your doctor know, like, this man only got 6 months. Do you want to know that? I don't think I want to know because I don't want to live.
That's tricky.
I don't want to live every day scared. Like
I do.
I don't want to wake up like, oh God,
I see what
day.
you're saying. Like, dang, is this it, Lord? Like,
Like the choice of, somebody dying suddenly in their sleep or something like that would be my preference. I don't want to know that you're going to die 3 months.
Yeah.
See, I want to know. But see, I would, because I'm the type of person. I'm silly too, but I'm the type of person. If I knew, it was so many things that I would do. I would record a lot of stuff. Because I look at it like that from the flip side. Because I got little kids. Let's say it happened now. What would help my daughter get through is me making a video, something that she can go back to. Now my other kids, I don't, but I know for her, from what I know, I'm just saying from what I know, that it would help her to be like, oh my God, here's a video of Daddy talking to me. Hey McKenna, this is Daddy. Like, to walk her through it. That's just the only reason why I would prep.
See, I don't think I want to know for me because I don't want to wake up every day like, is this the day?
Is this the day?
Or like my uncle used to say, I want to wake up dead. That's what my uncle used to say.
That's a famous black saying.
Like every day, like, oh. Because think about it, they tell you got 3 months. You be like, oh God, it's been a month.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy?
All kind of stuff, though.
Yeah, that's what the bucket list stuff comes in play.
You can ball out. It just.
I had a family friend, my mom's friend. She was diagnosed with cancer probably like early 90s, bro. And they told her, I forgot how long, some months to live. And she ended up living like 20 more years.
20 years,
yeah. So that was a blessing. But I don't know if I would want to know. But I would definitely tell her, even though she wouldn't tell me.
Okay, what about the flip side then? Like my aunt, okay? So my aunt that passed away in 21, she died of cancer. She got cancer. She beat it, okay? Told her everything was going to be okay, and then she died. Like, probably 3 months later.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, she beat it.
that
Went
happens.
through chemo.
Yeah.
Everything was cool. She was real skinny. The doctor's like, it's just going to take time for you to
regain
get your
strength
weight
and
back,
everything.
you know. And so she was in that process and literally just, I'm not laughing at it, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Then she was out of here. Like, I'm like, and that kind of messed my cousin up. It messed us all up because we was
you
like,
prepare yourself for the worst.
Yeah.
This is good, and then
just,
dies.
like that was
Like, oh my god.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of would mess me up too.
Yeah, like,
But I'm just dead set. I don't want to know my expiration date.
I understand.
I don't think that should be a conversation, really. I have cancer, stage 4. That's all I really need to know. I'm not going to ask you.
When you spit on it, not going
I'm
to
just, I'm not
we don't even want to speak
how
them
long do
words.
I have? No, that's not a. I don't think that should be part of the conversation.
Oh, with the doctor?
Ask,
but
well,
I've been through this with one of my friends. Like my friend Marcus passed from cancer. None of us knew that he had cancer until he was literally, for lack of better words, in the hospital on his deathbed.
Yeah.
None of us knew.
Yeah,
what y'all think about stage 4 then? Isn't it like giving you a timeline? Because you know once you get stage 4,
then
you know what
I
I'm
don't know.
saying?
I don't know if it gives you a timeline, but it definitely gives you
A lot of people that
an
still
acceleration
fight when
in
they
your
got
fear.
Stage 4, so I don't know.
I ain't hear what you say.
A lot of people still be like doing chemo stuff when they stage 4.
I think it depends on the type of cancer.
Type of cancer, okay.
I've never heard of anybody coming back
from it. That's all.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I guess the doctor has to tell you. Is that a thing? A law?
That's why I said, like,
Do
you
they
can
have to
tell me
tell you?
what stage it is, but don't tell me 3 to 4 months. Unless if I ask you, well, how long do
okay.
you think? But I don't think it should be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
It should be optional. Don't just come in this room and be like, okay, you got to. No, don't. I got cancer.
Okay.
And you know that stuff is not.
You know what I mean?
It's not a guarantee. Like when my best friend, when her dad died, they told him he had like 6 to 8 weeks. He died like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So it's not.
They never know. They never know.
Really,
they never know.
is.
They just have averages and things that they put together. Typically, a person with this stage has, but fuck cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Most definitely.
And, you know, y'all, and I'm learning this too. Like, man, grief is definitely something, and there is no structured book on grief. And that's what pisses me off personally, because I be feeling like sometimes grief has power over me, and I'm the type of person like I want to have power over everything. I don't want.
That's me. So
can't control it.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Can't
That's why I be
control
like. I'm like, how you gonna? I promise you, I be talking to grief like this. Like, how you gonna wake me up in the middle of the night? I'm serious.
You
like,
do know it's not a person.
I know what I be saying. Like, man, I'm chilling. I had a good night, then all of a sudden, I just start
like
crying, or like I had this real bad. I call it a terror attack. I thought I was finna lose my mind. That's the worst night I ever had in my life. I just woke up like tripping, like.
But did you ever think that could be from you trying to control it?
No, I know. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
That's what I was like. That's what I was like. Okay, look, that was my sign. Like, okay, Chops, you're gonna have to just.
But you
accept
probably
it.
should go to therapy. Like,
Yeah,
I know
I
you
probably
said I
will.
don't want to go to therapy because I don't want them asking me a lot of questions. That's not how therapy works. Like my
Okay.
therapist, how we're having this conversation
They let you talk
right
that.
now, it's just like this. But I may
about the
say
stranger
certain
part?
things. I'll say certain things, and she'll be like, "Well, you know, that may be because," and she'll turn it back to something that I already told her, like something from my childhood.
Okay.
Because if you I learned from her like a lot of stuff that we do as adults, like our reactions to certain things stems from things that happened in our childhood.
Okay.
So
I
you
get
may be a person that look at me being Dr. Phil.
Dr.
You may be a person,
Go ahead. You need a
Dr.
clipboard?
but you may be a person that as a kid you didn't have a lot of control. So now in your adulthood you want to control everything.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and I think too, it's so many variables. Man, he know a decent amount of it. I think too is like I've never experienced a tragedy like this for real.
Yeah.
Like my grandma, don't get it twisted. That was my grandma, but we wasn't necessarily like close like that. My aunt, we wasn't close like that. So this is the first close person, and we was estranged at the same time. So that's the crazy part too. It wasn't. I was like, I couldn't imagine somebody losing a parent that actually rock with their parent all day. I'm like, I'm feeling this way, and me and my mom sometimes didn't speak for months.
I mean, that's how it was with my best friend.
I'm
She
like,
was the
how
only
could they
child.
I don't even.
She was the only child, and she only lived with her dad.
Mm.
So I went through that process with her, so I kind of already had an idea. Because me and her dad were close.
Okay.
When my dad wasn't around, I used to always be with them.
With them, okay.
So I kind of watched her go through that process. And I could say for her, it's a lot harder because she's the only child to her dad.
Yeah,
So even like her siblings couldn't relate to what she was going through because they still got their mom and they dad.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But when my dad died, I called her. I was boo-hoo-hooing, crying her, and her crazy ass gone. She get on FaceTime. She tells him, "Okay, pumpkin." She was like, "I need you to take a deep breath." I took a deep breath. I calmed down, and she was like, "I ain't gonna never forget. It was July 18th. I talked to her right after we found out what happened. She called me the next day to make sure I was okay, and she was like, "I'll be there on this day at this time," and she was here.
Wow.
That day at that time.
Yeah. So for the both of you two, of course we can't put a time step on it. I'm gonna put a time step on it. What was the amount of time that went by that you feel like you really came to terms with that they're gone? Does that make any sense? Like how you still be like, man, I can't believe they gone.
You
So when
mean
you got
like
to the point,
accepted it,
or just the reality of no, they actually are totally they not here. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, 'cause yours is 2 years, right?
It's been 4.
4, okay.
Yeah, 19.
Okay.
Well,
you
it's still unreal.
Okay.
It's still unreal at times.
Okay.
From people that passed long ago, there are things that happen in life, and you naturally have a reaction to share it with certain people. Yeah. And I'm like, let me call my dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you get there, and it's like,
Okay.
yeah. So I have those moments still, man. Other deaths trigger it. You know, I'm singing at funerals. I don't like to view bodies, and well, I got that from him too, but I don't like it because I'm not an emotional person, so I really try to avoid evoking those type of emotions. But sometimes I just lose it. Like when my friend passed out, I just fucking lost it, and I was fine until I got there.
Sound like me.
Yeah, it was As soon as you had finished the eulogy.
Yeah, because then I had to get a eulogy at my mama's funeral too.
He smoked
That
that
was
too.
That was the hardest thing I ever did.
It didn't look like it. You smoked that.
Man, my knees don't get weak. Like my knees got weak. I thought I was finna pass out. I'm like, what in the world? Like, that was definitely on the flip side though, with my mom passing, it has definitely brought me and my two sisters even closer together. Like my older sister already kind of like my best friend anyway, but I got my younger sister. We like 8 years apart. But I just went to go see her in San Diego, which was like the best thing that could have ever happened for her and me.
Yeah, I think when my dad passed, me and my sister, my older sister, we always been tight. We had the same mother and father.
Wow, okay.
So we kind of went through all the same childhood stuff
like
together.
Me and my sister, yeah.
My younger sister, when my dad passed, it did make us closer. But to answer your question, like, it's kind of like the same thing that he said. Like, it still be things that come about. Like my oldest daughter just graduated high school, and now she's in college.
Okay.
In my mind, I'm like, damn, my daddy would be doing. And then I got to remember, like, oh, okay, he's not here. Like her high school graduation. But what I can say is, we're very blessed that we have a wonderful extended family, like my uncles and stuff. Like my dad,
support systems are
my dad's oldest brother. Of course, like my dad can't be here. My uncle comes to everything. Like he came to her graduation.
Yeah.
When she got ready to go to college, you know, he was calling, making sure she had everything she needed. So it's kind of like, even though, and I think sometimes, like, you will understand, like, you have older daughters. Everybody here got kids. I think sometimes, like, we as parents, with some parents, not us, they kid reach a certain age, they think they done. Yeah. My uncle was like, no, y'all still need y'all daddy. I'm here for y'all.
I'm here for
you know
y'all.
what I'm saying? Like even though we're in our 40s, my uncle like,
but we really
you
do.
Need your daddy.
You're right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he kind of stepped in and filled that void. And then even with my mom, like everybody in my family, and I understand everybody's family is not like that. But we lucky where our family like, hey, like I got y'all.
Okay.
But I definitely had days like I very rarely go in the city. Just because it's dangerous. But anyway, I very rarely go in the city.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I very rarely go in the city, but I still find myself when I happen to be down there, I be like, damn, I should stop by my daddy house.
Yeah.
And then I had that reality check, like, he ain't there.
That
or
definitely happens.
something happens, and I be like, man, I'm going to call him and say he'd be cracking up. Because my daddy believed in aliens, like all the conspiracy theory stuff. So I'll see something on TV.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll see something on TV and be like, man, my daddy be all over this. And I even have picked up my phone and be getting ready to call him
Same here.
and be like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's happened. Oh, okay. I got one more question on this topic, then I got another one. So I saw my partner say this the other week about his cousin. But how do y'all feel? Do y'all still have the number saved?
Mm-hmm.
Still have the number saved? Like I can't.
I still got a voicemail.
I can't delete.
I still got text messages.
Yeah, I don't think I've deleted any of that stuff. So and I wonder, is that peace when you go see it, or is it triggering? I guess it depends on the mood you're in when you're going to look for it.
Yeah, I think in my case, like my text messages from my daddy was funny because he hated texting. So literally, one of the last text messages I got from him was "Stop fucking texting me." You know, I hate to
Man,
so like every time I go back and read it, it's funny as shit to me. Like every time.
My 5-year-old put a virus on my phone, so I had to hard reset my phone.
What's
He
that?
used to be
A
playing
virus?
these games.
I'm saying, what is it?
What?
Oh, it's an Android thing. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, you got that off.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you,
No,
bro.
it's all good. So yeah, I had to hard reset my phone, so I ain't got no nothing from my mom. But the thing is, like the thing that me and my mom love, like I need to be on the game show. When so you don't know this. I lived with my mama until I was 13. Then I moved with my dad and my stepmother. So, but when I lived with my mom, all we did was watch 80s and 90s sitcoms.
Oh, did you used to watch Carol Burnett?
Of course.
Okay.
The Honeymooners, if you name it, and my sister too. So now, like everybody in my house, they say I'm an old man because all I watch is old shows. But that used to be the connection with my mama. I call her like, Mama, I'm watching Cagney and Lacey. Mama, I'm watching, and then we'd have a conversation. That was like the only thread that really kept our relationship going was that. So now I'd be like, I don't even really be watching it no more because I see it. She the only person that'll get it because we know we used to watch, you name it. I'm telling you, I watched every show, white, black, in the 80s. Me and her watched it. Yeah, so
Hunter, Cagney,
yeah, come on, Hunter. What you know about Hunter?
Three's Company,
Three's Company.
Yes.
Carol Burnett,
Yes.
Golden Girls,
Golden Girls are
Yes.
right. That's classic.
227.
Yeah, Silver Spoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Happy Days? Y'all
Yeah,
Happy Days? That was my
Happy
joint
Days.
there, yeah.
A show called Taxi. I
Taxi,
used
I used to watch that. Yeah, all those shows. Andy Griffith.
Oh,
You used to
yeah,
watch Andy Griffith?
Yeah, I kind of did. I didn't really get
Wait,
into
who
it. That
watched
really wasn't my
Mr.
thing.
Ed though?
I did.
I
watched Mr. Ed
did.
and Car 54.
I didn't. I didn't watch.
You don't know
I
about
didn't
Car
watch
54,
that.
do you,
I used to
baby?
watch Dragnet.
I watched
ain't-
Dragnet.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
And then, you know, like late at night when Apollo went off and MASH would come on.
See, that's time to turn TV
I
off.
never watched
I
You watch
had-
MASH?
I had shit else to
See,
do.
no.
We didn't have cable.
I would count the specs on the wall before I watch MASH.
Once
I'm
you see
sorry.
that helicopter flying, that's it.
I would watch
That beat
MASH,
come on? Oh my God.
or
I hate
you
it.
remember you could turn the channel to the jukebox.
Yeah. I used to
It
watch.
was
Yeah,
gonna be what to do.
yeah, but I
man.
couldn't do that. I used to be mad when man.
Yeah, MASH
that's it.
MASH is a no-go.
Yeah.
I've definitely found myself watching.
Of course, I'm sure we all watched I Love Lucy. And
Oh,
all
Yeah,
that.
course.
I love
all
Lucy.
that,
That's
yeah.
my mom. My nickname for my mom is Lucy.
Oh, for real?
That's what she
That's
called
dope.
me.
Shouldn't
Okay,
have told me
okay.
that.
Don't let that lead this way.
Yeah, it's in
I
the
used to
world
watch
now.
Mama's Family. Look,
Oh, Mama's Family. That's
Oh,
number
Mama's
one.
Family. And
That's number one
dang,
for
what
me.
was the other one? It was another one.
Which one you think about?
I don't know.
I
I'm a
didn't
white. It's
I
gonna
think-
come to my
yeah,
mind
I
when
used
I
to
leave
watch
here.
all that. So yeah, so that was the one connection with me and her. And it's one funny thing because my mom used to let me say it, but I want to say it, but I can't because the joke with me and my mom used to be like, man, on my mama. She used to think that was the funniest thing. But I'd be like, I can't say it now, but I can't say it now. But I used to be like, oh, my mama. So
They'd be like, no, you burning her up.
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Burning it up.
We old.
Yeah,
Old
we
as
are.
hell.
Hey, that's all right, though. People can relate to it.
Aging
Look.
gracefully.
Yeah, you tell your kids TV used to go off. They'd be like, what?
What's that?
What do you mean he used to go
My
off?
daughters
Like,
asked me. She was like, "Mama, when you was young, was the TV in color or black and white?"
Oh
I was
man,
like, wait a minute.
somebody asked some shit like that.
They think we are really that
Yeah,
old.
McKenna be like, yeah, I was born in the 1900s.
Yeah, now
I
that's
can't even, I'd be like,
that's
dang,
so
well, you
offensive.
are right, yeah.
that's
Like,
so
dang.
offensive. Yeah.
Okay, so we could segue from this. I be telling my daughters all the time, they hear I was born in 1982 or whatever.
Yeah.
But if y'all notice, like, our generation and their generation, it's not that far removed. Like, I
Yeah,
listen to some of their same music.
Now, I think that's
same
a problem,
clothes,
though.
same shoes.
I think that's the problem. There was a generational gap, and I think it kind of governed and kept shit in order. So, which was funny because it was a great segue. The question I have is, how do y'all feel about being friends with your kids? Is it a good thing? Is it a terrible thing? Is it a fine line and you have to finesse it and know the techniques? Or do you think that most people know when to turn it on and off, or what?
I tell my kids all the time, we're very close.
I ain't one of your little friends.
They tell me, I tell them all the time, I'm not your friend. I'm not supposed to be friends with a 17-year-old. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to be friends. But I do try to keep that line of communication open. Mm-hmm. Like me and my oldest daughter, we so close. When she calls me from school, she be like, "Hey, girl." Like, but she know, like, my mama beat my ass if I did it.
I think a lot of that is lost though, because so many people, keep it real, they try to live through their kids.
Yeah.
Number one. Yeah. But number two, I think there's a fine line when you're talking about being friends with a kid, and especially like a teenager, because a lot of times a parent can force what they think the kid wants, and it just kind of fuck everything off, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think there needs to be some form of separation, because with all of the we friends, like half of this, 90% of the shit that I didn't do and or learn how to do and not get caught is because of the fear of my parents.
Yeah.
There's no fear, there's no respect or none of that shit with these kids. Like, I'm out and I see these young guys, they have zero respect.
Yeah. I think a lot of it be the parent fault. I mean, but look at it though. Like, I think a lot of it is the parent fault. Like me in my case, I wasn't like a teen mom. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not, no discredit to teen moms, because I do know some very good teen moms. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of them, like, it's a difference when the daughter's 16 and the mom 28.
It's 28. They're growing up together.
Yeah,
that's different.
I think that's where a lot of the disconnect comes from. And then that's how like you were raised. Like, I think a lot of us, we grew up a certain way. Mm-hmm. So we was like, I would never do that to my kids.
But I think that separation created that, because you knew, I can't play this around my mama.
Right.
But these girls pop some shit on with their mama.
We had real grandmas.
My pussy pink, my booty whoa. Like, your mom is, my mom is right there. What the fuck are you doing?
See, my situation is like, with my kids, see, I ain't got older kids like y'all except the one, Dylan.
See, but I understand your approach with him. Yeah, we've talked about your approach. That's why I brought it up.
Relatable. Yes. Not friends. I think
relatable. That's important. That's that fine line.
I think we should be relatable, because we got to understand what they're going through.
Because my dad had me later in life. And the gap that you're talking about was to my detriment had it not been for my stepmother. I call her my other mama. I had two mamas. Because she actually she helped me become who I was when I lived with her. It's because my dad was so much older, and my dad grew up in the country. He couldn't fathom 90s.
It was definitely a disconnect.
When we went through, that man thought, he like, hey man, it costs $20, because my dad was in the war. It costs $20 to make Nikes in Vietnam, and you think I'm gonna pay $70? I'm like, Dad, like, what you? Yeah. Like, he didn't know about Joan, and he didn't know about what it meant to go to school and not have name brand. He thought that was just the most vain thing, which it probably is, but he was so far removed, he didn't understand the effect that it had. So we had no concern. So I was like, man, when I get my own kids, I don't want to be that far removed to where I can't identify.
You can't relate to
you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking it ain't no big deal, but for them it's a big deal. You get what I'm saying? So, but then my mom on the flip side, because my dad was like 10 plus years older than my mom when they was married. She was young when she had me and my sister. So I went through the flip side. My mama used to be in the streets. You know what I'm saying? When we was little.
Your mama was outside.
Nah, my mama was outside for real.
Jackie was outside?
Yeah, Jackie was outside. So when I lived, so that's, long story short, so I got to experience both sides. My mom and dad was married, got a divorce when I was 5. My sister was 6. So her is my mom in her early 20s with 2 kids, single parent. My mama used to be out in the club outside. So I saw the bad side of that. You get what I'm saying? But then I went to my dad, which was the total
Yeah.
Other end,
I think that kind of. I think that would help though because it gives you
crazy.
2 references that you know you
I don't want. Yeah.
But
or 2 references that you understand
I
too.
don't know if that helped though, because
I think it would help, not at the time.
Yeah, maybe now.
Yeah, later,
but
because
then,
it kind of gives you perspective and understanding of other people's situations.
Yeah.
See, my mom was weird. Like, I had the weird mom. And this gonna sound crazy when I say, like, she had my sister when she was 19. So she was the young mom, and she was very rebellious. Like, she had went to Catholic school all her life. Then she met my daddy, and that shit went downhill. My daddy is a straight hustler, street nigga, all of that. How she hooked up with my daddy, I have no idea. So
It's
she
the
has my
intrigue.
So she has my sister when she's 19. She's a young mom. Trying to do everything on her own when she really didn't have to. Then she had me. Now she's we're 4 years apart. So now she's a little older, a little bit more mature. So her and my sister would bump heads all the time, like straight arguing, everything.
Man, sound like my mom and my
sister. My sister moves out. She goes to live with my grandmother. And I think like when my sister moved out, I was like 9, 10, something like that.
So she's about 14.
My mom went through this phase where I wanted to call her Stella. Like she just started clubbing. Yeah, like she just started clubbing. I was like 13. I'm like 12, 13 years old. I'd be at home by myself. My mom made biryani nights at Nick's.
Yeah, my mom was
she stayed outside.
Mom. You know, I experienced that. I was older, and I think I'm sure that type of parenting affected my sister in a different way because they split when I was graduating. So I was cool. So I'm sure it affected my sister a lot differently than it did me, especially because it was kind of fucked up because it was like, all right, well, he kind of ghosted a little bit. Like, I wasn't fucking with him for a while. It's a whole different situation, conversation, and I don't want to go back dark.
It's a different episode.
Yeah, it's a different episode. But I'm sure that it affected my sister differently because we are 10 years apart. So I'm 17, she's 7 at the time. And then him ghosting because of his anger with my mom. So that's one of the things, like, no matter how upset I be with my baby mama, I can't ghost my baby. Even when she dagger to the gut earlier this year, I still can't, no turn on her. But I think the important thing that I learned actually from my previous marriage, because there was this type of friction that you said with your sister and your mom. So me having to play mediator, it just taught me to listen more. But I think the important thing, like you said, is being relatable. But I think the right amount of structure and discipline and allowing them to have their own voice helps. Because we grew up with the, I said it, don't worry about it. You do what I say, now, blah, 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 and all that old dictatorship shit. And it ruined, and I'm still trying to repair the relationship with my daughter because I got that from my daddy. And then I had to unlearn that, but it's still been an uphill battle because why is that the memory? It's been like 9 years.
That's what you call them generational curses. That curse you got to break. Like with my daughters, like the way I grew up, I had a strict mom, and then I had the mom that was clubbing and like trying to be my friend. So it's like I had both sides of it, but I was lucky where I had my sister. Even though we're only 4 years apart, when my mom was going through her phase of like wanting to club and drinking and stuff, my sister stepped in almost like a second parent. Then like I had my grandmother. Like my grandmother was always stable. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew what it was gonna be when I went to my grandma's house. She was always my constant. So, but I ain't gonna lie, with my mom doing it though, it kind of messed up me and my sister's relationship for a while because it was almost like a mother-daughter relationship.
Like you ain't
instead
my
of
mom.
sister.
Like, hold on,
like
I'm listening to you, but
our
wait.
relationship was so messed up to the point for a while that when I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, I wasn't scared to tell nobody but my sister. And we was living together. She told me I was doing something and she was like, "Nigga, you pregnant?" No, I'm not. But I feel like with my daughters, they know I'm not your friend, but they know I'm very relatable.
Yeah.
Like I understand.
Cool enough to understand.
Yeah, like I understand. Like they know, like okay, I could tell my mama and. She's gonna give me her advice because especially like with my 18-year-old, she in college. I can't control her anymore. I don't have no control over what she's doing in college.
Right.
I want to,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like I can't. So like the other day, she told me that she smoked weed, and I was like, it wasn't nothing I could do about it. Like I wanted to be mad, but I'm like,
Right.
I can't do anything about
It's
that.
not trying
At
to
that
teach.
point, you have to educate. So
That's what I
Yeah.
did.
Once my oldest reached a certain age.
Middle. You were on me. But go
Okay.
ahead.
Once my oldest reached a certain age, there's certain things that, of course, I didn't want her to do, but she was going to do them. So I'm going to arm you with the knowledge
Exactly.
to be safe. I don't like it. It's not, you know, I'm not condoning it, but
Yeah.
I'm not shunning it.
I'm not right. You're gonna do it. I'm going to give you the information. We're gonna go whatever for you to be safe. So I think it's different stages for, I think, you know, where they are developmentally and their ages and you know what type of child you have. But no, I'm not a friend, but yeah, I think I'm probably more of a relatable parent.
Okay. I want
than
to
I
add
am
this
more
too.
Strict, like type. No, don't do this.
Right.
I was more like, we did it when we were young. So how do we get so bent out of shape when we find out that our kids are lying? Yes, they need to get disciplined, but sometimes I think they take things too far because you forget that you were young once.
I tell my daughters all the time,
So,
everything you doing or thinking about doing,
I've
I
already
did
done
it.
it.
All the
yeah.
difference was
Well, that's
we
y'all.
didn't
Y'all
have social
heathens.
media.
I'm an angel. So I ain't
We
doing
didn't have
shit.
social media. That's why I tell them. I said, y'all get yourself caught. Y'all record everything.
Everything.
I said, we
It's a
didn't.
paper
we,
trail.
We couldn't record nothing.
Yeah.
I said, so it's still stuff to this day that I did that my mama don't have no idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was gonna
I'd be
ask- can I
pissed.
add this real quick?
Of course, I'd be pissed too. But go ahead. Right, go ahead.
I think too, like with my pops, what I learned not to do with my 16-year-old and my kids. I don't know if y'all went through this, but I'm sure y'all did because we all came from the same era. I try to teach my son that it's okay to make mistakes. And
Yes.
our parents got on us and made us feel like we were messed up people for making mistakes. And I try to tell my
that
son,
make you feel
you're
terrible.
supposed to make.
Yeah.
Like I be telling, it's like I'm not. You're. How can I hold you to a standard that you know everything, and then I get on you when you don't do it? Because that's how my dad was on me. Like I'm like, dang, I'm only 16. Like this is what. So I try to gauge 16-year-old behavior with my son. And I'll give him some grace when it's quote unquote. You get what I'm saying?
it's
Like,
necessary.
Instead of just breaking his self-esteem down every time he make a mistake, because that's what I used to do.
That's
Like,
why I make
how
sure
you
I
do-
don't call names. Like I remember when I was younger, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying my mom was a bad mom.
No,
I
I
think
get
it
you.
was
My
just
mom
from the
cussed me
era
out.
she came from, like the 70s. Either be like, you so stupid,
Yeah.
or you so dumb.
Oh, yeah.
That stuck
Had to
with
stop
me.
that, yeah.
So now, like with my daughters, I never call them
Yeah.
that. Now I will be like, you really think that was smart?
Make it make sense. That's how I hit him with it. Make it
Like,
make sense.
Did you really think that out? But I make sure I never call them names because I can still remember to this day, like my mama calling me stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. I don't want them to grow up like, damn, my mama think I'm stupid.
You know, I'm as I'm sitting there listening to y'all, and I think about this other times. I'm sure everything that we've all been through has helped mold us. But one thing, I don't know, maybe you can tell me or correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really hold on to too much. Would you say I hold
What
on
you
to
mean?
a lot? She said that still haunts her. She still hears that. Now, I can dial a memory up, but it doesn't stick out the same way where it may be a negative effect on you, or, you know, where it might make you shut down if somebody else says this. You know, somebody says a word that you
You
know,
lucky,
I
then,
think
bro.
it
You
depends
lucky.
on the
yeah, I
person.
guess I'm pretty lucky
It
with
depends
that.
because
Nah,
I
got some.
internalize stuff,
Yeah.
and it could be because I'm a Gemini. I don't know,
Uh-oh.
but I do
Heard that we
internalize.
gonna lose.
Internalize.
But it's
yeah.
weird though because it's only like that with certain
Astrology.
people. Like
Okay.
if I don't care about you or care about your opinion, you
Yeah.
could be like, you call me all type of
Absolutely.
bitches, hoes, everything, and I won't care. But if I like have some sort of respect for you, I
Yeah.
admire you, I like you, and you say something about me, I kind of tend to internalize it.
I'm a
Right.
words person though, so words
person.
I'm
Words
definitely
hurt.
affect
Action
me.
Would you tell people
I used
words
to hate when they
hurt?
tell you that them words don't hurt. None of the words was
It's
cutting me up.
like,
Look, when you get done.
Every time somebody says something like,
And I'm very protective over my daughter like that because she's just like me. Words, you know what I'm saying? I used to hate words don't hurt. Yes, they do. Now my youngest
How
son,
do you arm them against people out there who are angry? It's different, of course, when a parent figure, but when you have some little knucklehead or some little girl at school, how do you be like?
I taught my
they're
daughter how to
just
joan.
words. Yes, they
I taught her
hurt,
how to
but, you know,
joan. I was like, you better
Yeah.
fire off.
See, that's what he said. He didn't know how to jump.
I ain't know how to
He
jump.
just fired off on somebody.
I was fighting all the time. But so only thing I could do now with my daughter, but she's in a new school now, which is better. And I hate to say it like this, but this is another topic for another day. My daughter is not built for black culture. And what I mean by that is in school, the joning and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew the school around the corner, they were starting to do that. And I was like, my daughter needs to go in an environment where...
But you recognize that though.
Yeah, so that's
good.
my way of dealing. Because I'm like, if she would have went to that school this year, because they said something, I was ready to fight. They said something to my daughter. Anyway, I don't even want to say it on mic. But it hurt my feelings too, because I can identify. I got teased for being chubby my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So when they made a comment and the way she received it, she's just like me. She's not a filter. She's just going to receive it. Even if it's negative, it's going to...
Oh, it's
you get what I'm saying? Ain't no, let me think about it, and daddy can come and say, no, don't. It's already been hit her. So I had to like speak the opposite to her. Like, no, you, whatever. But part of what I had to do, I said, no, don't get offended about the black culture people that are listening. I'm saying part of black
offended.
culture, the
right.
The joning and all that. Like my daughter can't survive like that. My oldest, he can.
I got teased like a mug when I was younger. Oh, I got called ugly.
got teased.
I got called Regina Steamer. I got called a whole bunch of shit.
But my mom, she was cool because they were. I had been wearing glasses.
Me laughing.
Yeah, I had been wearing glasses. These ain't prescription, but since I was 4. And they used to fuck with me around the neighborhood. She used to call me 4 Eyes. And so my mama said, the next time they tell you this, you tell them, 4 Eyes my dick. And that was my shit. So I couldn't wait till somebody tell me, and I used to grab it too, 4 Eyes my dick.
I had the glasses.
I never heard that story.
You ain't never heard this story?
Never.
I told him before.
Was it on the podcast?
It might have been when you was cutting my hair or something.
My mom made me wear the glasses. Like, I'm gonna put myself out there for a second.
So good.
I had a lot of hair when I was younger, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom went through this thing. I don't have no idea why. She gave me a curl when I was like,
I had a curl.
I was like in 2nd, 3rd grade.
Hey, I love my curl.
But
you know what they used to say? Curls for the girls. I always been.
My mom went to work before I went to school, so my shit used to be dry as fuck. Unless my sister got up.
Lord, no.
I'm dead ass. Look, I went to Willie.
Okay.
So unless my sister would get up and do my hair for me, which the majority of the time she did, but if she was mad at me or something, she'd be like, "Fuck your hair," and she just wouldn't do my hair. But
she get you looks.
I didn't get teased for that because I was at Willie and I was comfortable there. I was the fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I used to always fight the same girl. Then we moved and I started going to Coke in Riverview.
Okay.
When we get to Coke, my mom let my curl grow out and then she cut my hair. She didn't take me to the beauty shop. She cut my hair herself with like paper cutting scissors.
Ooh, my mama did that one time.
I went to Coke Elementary.
You did?
So you might have been one of the people that I was playing.
My mama cut my hair one time. My mama cut my shit one time, bro. It was crazy. She took the clippers, but didn't have no guard, so I had a big ass. Yeah, bro, my cousin called it the Boulevard. So at 12 years old, I'm in summer school. Hair just like this, I had to cut all my shit off. I'm looking, man. I had on a goddamn Laker cap every day, man. I'm 12, looking like I got fucking
growing up in the 80s podcast episode.
No idea what happened to this man.
It's just. Oh, thank you. Sometimes you leave me hanging. You don't know where the clip at?
I don't know where it went, but
it's probably fit on your shirt. We'll check it in a minute. We
but
about to wrap anyway.
I got teased, and I used to get teased by the boys I liked, so that had hurt my feelings. So then I left Coke. I went to Grieving in Hazelwood. I did not fit in there. Like I didn't have the name brand clothes and stuff.
Yeah, I can relate.
So I got teased there, but I don't know what happened to me. I reverted. I wasn't a fighter. I went back to Jenny's for junior high. I was like, I wish a motherfucker would tease me. I learned how to Joan. It was over. It was I wish you would.
Joning is my thing. That's what we do. Like I Joan every day with my mama.
To this day. For real.
You've been around. That's how we talk about each other. So
when was that Saturday?
My cousin bridal shower.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
You see that looking guy?
Because everybody was there. Well, except Jason, but you know.
So like when my youngest daughter, she went through a little phase where they was teasing her.
Even Will
she
came.
Like me. She learned how to Joan. She was like, we're going to stop that. But my oldest daughter is not a Joner. So she was like, not even that. She was.
She meant it in.
You wasn't gonna
She
punk
meant
her.
it in a younger.
She
daughter.
wasn't gonna never let you punk her, but she was like, "I'm not finna fight you." She was more so like, "I'm gonna ignore you." But she was that kid where if you push her, she finally would.
Okay.
But she even to this day, she's 18. She'll be 19 in November. She's still not a Joner. My youngest daughter, say something shit. You been around.
She always talk shit when we be on that Shada 2.0. She always
she
talking
gonna
shit.
light you
Her cool
up
ass. She
in
too
a
cool.
heartbeat.
All I had was these, boy. I used to. You don't know that I got suspended every year for fighting from kindergarten to 10th grade. Oh, if you join on me, I'm swinging. Ain't no
Hey, man. Like damn, we was just joning.
Like in class, everything. If you say any, especially you talk about my size. Oh man, look, look, y'all know this part. I've had over like 150 fights in my life.
Yeah,
Why?
Seriously.
This nigga's a menace.
Nah,
He's a menace.
Look, I'm not quick. I'm not witty. I can't think fast, but these go fast. And I used to,
You get niggas a one like, all right, man.
No,
It just or just
don't Joan
They
on
didn't even
me.
know they was offended.
And look,
They didn't know they was offended you. You
don't
beat the shit out of
Joan on
somebody.
me and everybody laugh at the same time. Oh, you finna die. I
Nigga,
promise you.
me-
You finna die.
I was witty. I was witty.
when
And
you
I
went-
would talk about your mama, your granny. I didn't.
I'm
Everybody
going.
got
I'm
talked
going.
about.
Are you laughing? No. Boom, 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 boom.
This is what
No.
I said.
That's why when people be joning, I get real quiet. I just
Oh
be
man.
like,
But yeah, that's
You trying to make sure you're not
have,
excited.
like you have to know how to
be
Joan
like,
to be in my family. Like
Real,
she'll tell you.
nah.
Like
That's
that's
how my
all
family
we do
is.
is talk shit all day. And like they're like, you don't talk to your mom like that? I'm like, yeah. She out there looking like whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, she who did I say she looked like the other day? I don't know, but anyway, but we always joning. And, like I can't imagine life without talking shit. That's my favorite pastime.
Like my whole
yeah,
family
period.
is sarcastic. Like I literally have to warn people when they come around my family. Like, look, my whole family is sarcastic.
I just had to warn
They're
about
going
one
to say
auntie.
something ignorant.
My
I'm
one
just
auntie,
telling
she
you.
offensively ignorant though, but I was like, hey, look. My mama tell you check her ass. My mama be like, if she fuck with you, you check her ass. That's she told Shell that. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I just laugh and smile, and I try to stay out the way. Like even though I know I can't stay out the way, but
You can.
Nah, that wasn't. Look, nah.
That's me. I try
So
to stay out the
what kind of kid were you? Were you the
I was not
Joner?
a Joner, no.
Yeah, see, we in the
Quiet.
same
I was
boat.
liked by everybody, so I didn't.
Okay,
I never had
nah.
a fight in my
Whatever.
life. I didn't get talked about, but I was
I be
young,
talking
I
about
wore
your ass.
glasses, but I wasn't picked on or.
You was lucky.
Cool.
You was lucky.
Cause she mild mannered. I was talking to the homeboy earlier. He was something. Man, like if she have, I'm like, well, nah, she don't have mood changes. That we
Pretty even.
we
kid.
1,000
You
over
pretty
here. Like,
even.
oh man, it's the greatest thing in the world.
That's what's up.
I like to think I'm like that, but you piss me off.
You can go
You
there,
definitely gonna
yeah.
see a different side. But it take a lot to make me mad. Like you gotta keep picking
Yeah,
at
just
me.
picking at you,
gotta
I got
keep
you.
picking at me.
So
Even
question.
when I'm mad, it's not extreme or like I don't hold on to things for a long time. So even if I'm mad, I'll be mad for a little bit, but
Yeah,
I'm over it pretty quickly.
yeah. It takes me longer, but then I'm over it.
Long.
Whatever. It just seems long to you. It don't be that long.
It be long.
When I'm
You be
mad,
doing
I'm mad.
you be doing some
And
some
then you don't
shit.
know how to fix it. You know.
And the funniest thing that he said, I was at work getting weak when I read that message. It was a text. It was on Facebook, and he put on there. Sometimes when I'm mad at my woman and I'm trying to get back at her, I won't squeegee the shower.
Hey, I be feeling like I'm a
That
bitch
stuff
ass nigga because I
be
used to will wild the
hilarious.
fuck out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my thing. I just don't squeegee the shower. I'm like, I feel like a bitch ass nigga. I'll show her. I'll show you.
Yeah. Watch this.
When I read that, I was laughing.
That's 1000%
so hard.
accurate.
Hey,
That's how she know. I'm
hilarious.
like, whatever.
That's hilarious.
Then I'll be mad like, fuck, she got in after me. So she had to squeegee it anyway. I want to leave the spot so you know that I'm mad.
I'm in here.
I need you to grow up, Fred.
No, that's my version of growing up. Because if you ask anybody about how I was before her, man.
Hey, look,
Thank
y'all. Hey, I got a partner that he got so mad at his lady one day, he took a knife and took her charger and just slid it.
Slit it?
That's some wild shit. Hey, that's,
So when she
hey, that
tried to
nigga
charge
wild. That nigga crazy. He a psycho.
Hey,
You got it.
hey, he literally just cut
Just a
it
little bit.
a little bit to where that thing.
Hey, I've man.
I did all my crazy stuff when I was younger.
I never did no crazy stuff.
Now that I'm older, I don't
argue
never
that
did
shit.
but I used to like
I
lay
couldn't deal with
hands
crazy
and everything.
No, I couldn't do crazy. Lay hands.
Like I fought my kid's father. However, let me preface it by saying it wasn't like I started the fight. He was trying to take my car. Like he was literally wrestling me for my car keys. So I felt like I was in a position where I had to defend myself. Now I will say I ain't stopped. Like he called the police on me and everything. The first time he tried to call the police, you know,
crazy.
you had the phone that you got to plug it in the wall, like the real phones. Because I would call the police, and I remember I ran over. No, I smashed the phone. I stepped on it. Smashed it.
At least you ain't kick the doors off the hinges. You cool.
No, I ain't never done nothing like that.
2 incidents ever in like a relationship. One girl tried to kill me. She tried to slit my throat.
Well, you can't wait. You can't say that casually.
Yeah,
I tried a couple incidents. Bitch tried to slit my throat.
Yeah,
And you see the way he did like,
you casually
so
said
it was
that.
one girl, but it was nothing. I didn't die. Obviously, I'm still here.
What did you do?
I was so young and immature. I ended up, long story short, I slept with her friend and her friend's friend. And she found out about it.
What? That's not normal.
Hey, I was something else back in. I was something else, and I used to just do stuff just to say I could do it. And so I didn't even like the girl though. I was with her, but I didn't like her.
Yeah, I've been there, but ain't nobody put no knife to my throat.
She was crazy. Like she ain't gonna watch, even if she watched this so what. So she from Walnut Park, okay. And I went through my phase where I loved hood chicks. She had goals and everything.
She told me, I don't understand how.
I went through my hood, like, hey, because all I hate hood bitches now was like light-skinned chicks. I was like, I'm finna switch it up. She got goals. She was dark like that table. Pretty teeth, though, goals. And so anyway, I ain't like her, but she told me I couldn't break up with her. Me and Aaron, once again. So we came up with this plan.
So you gonna knock
the more I do stuff, it's gonna force her to leave me. No, she literally told me, she like, you're not leaving me. But I knew she was serious. I said, Chops, this is what you get for messing with these hood chicks. Mm-hmm. So long story short, I had a 1-bedroom apartment, Colonial Metals. Blue doors. I was eating a steak and she was sitting across the table from me. So she's talking about how she found out I smashed 2 of her friends. Mm-hmm. Like her friends. Yeah. And so I'm cutting this with the steak. I'm cutting the steak and I'm laughing though in her face. Because I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be my out. So I never forget. She was like, "You think I'm playing?" I'm just laughing. So I cut the steak and I set the knife down, and she grabbed that knife and hopped across the table and put it up to my throat.
Luckily, was it a steak knife or was you cutting your shit with a butcher knife?
It was a steak knife. She put it up against my throat. And I had to she was real skinny though, so I had to grab her and throw her against the wall, boom, and then we just went on about the day.
Man, that could have been fucked up. She could have fell on it and then anything. Yeah.
And then she had this is the first time I ever seen a psychotic. Eyes, her eyes was red. So when she said, "You think I'm playing?" And in my mind, I was like, "I know you're not playing," but I know I'm a big dude, so I just threw her off of me, and then I had to anyway. But yeah, that's a long story short. But she literally had to right here. I never forget it was right here to my throat.
Yeah,
I've never experienced that. I couldn't deal with crazy chicks. I would preface everything when I meet a chick like, "Hey, I'm gonna let you know now. I don't do none of that shit. I've heard about shit like that, and I have a sister that's insanely crazy, and she crazy about her brothers." I just had to tell them. And I ain't never had no issues. Thank God.
I preface it where I've always been this type of person. I've never been like a really violent person. You have to do something to me. Yeah. In that case, for me, him had to fight. When I say he was literally wrestling me for my keys, I feel like I had to defend myself. Now I have done pop-ups, that type of stuff, but after I had that incident with him, I think I was 24, I had told myself that I would not allow myself to be around anybody that will
take you there.
See, that's my thing. I don't want to be around nobody that makes me do that type of shit. And people don't understand that. I had another question, but I'm going to save it for next episode because I'll be delving pretty deep on that one. Okay. It's pretty personal. But, yeah, that's... Yeah, I don't like to be around people who bring the worst out of me.
Yeah, I remove myself, and I'm that person. I will remove myself from a situation, and you won't have no idea I'm going. You just look up and be like, "Damn,
that's me." Okay. I'm Ghost Town DJs.
Yeah. If I see you want to argue, I even did it with the ex before. I see you want to argue, I'm like, "Yep." Go ahead. I'm not because I'm not arguing because I know me. I know me. If I get that upset, I'm going to say some stuff. I can't walk back. And then
See, I see,
I'm
like,
not, I'm not gonna apologize.
See, that was crazy though. Like,
You ain't gonna
argument
apologize
used to be
now.
an
I'm not-
aphrodisiac for me.
I'm
It
not-
used to get
I'll
me in the
apologize,
mood.
but
Like,
I definitely
No,
say
if
some
you
shit
make
once
me
before.
that mad, like if you literally like I feel like you straight poking me and I get mad
that's
and I
me.
say some off the wall stuff, I ain't apologizing.
So,
You
question.
just gonna be mad.
So, oh no, I was wrong finger. So, I guess people got to be careful with you and make sure that they don't trigger you.
basically.
No, okay, so
No, I
I'll
understand it because I was go ahead.
I can revert that back though. I had to learn to speak up about if you're doing something I don't like or if you're doing something to hurt my feelings. I would hold it all in.
Yeah.
So that would be what kind of make me snap. Now I'm like not like a nagger.
But you
I'm
address
verbal.
it early.
Yeah,
I address shit early.
So that way now I know it because if you continue to do it, to me that means you don't care. Like you know,
That-
like
see,
one time,
I have a problem
2
with
times,
that.
3 times.
You know, I don't typically say you don't care. My saying is, if you doing that after I told you, saying fuck me, so it's
Man,
fuck
you sound like me.
That's my thing.
I take everything like that. And I'm
Now,
trying to get better
only
at that.
if
I
we've
take
been there
everything
and
like
you
that.
know better. You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
but I basically feel like you saying fuck
Yeah,
me. So
because
it's
I'm
fuck
dead.
you.
Like if I sat down and
And
I
I'm
talked
the wrong
to
person to
you,
have a fuck you contest with.
if I sat down and I told you like, hey, you know, you did so and so, like it made me feel like this. Like I've learned how to explain, like you did this. This is how it made me feel. I don't like that feeling or whatever. So it's kind of like after at that point, and you know, I get it. You know, people it take time sometimes people to adjust. But it's to me, if you continue to do it, you like, oh, you don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you saying
See, that's
fuck
a
me.
whole. But see, that's
Yeah.
a whole nother. For another time that
So-
I'm glad
so-
you on this because I have questions for you guys.
So
about what
this
she
this
just
is what I
said.
do. We got homework. Remember, that's what we're gonna talk about
okay.
next time. And you know, some things you want to talk about, some things you want to talk about. Healthy conversations that may trigger some people. But I personally would like to thank everybody for tuning in. It's my man, the homie Chops, and we got, in addition to the podcast, that's willing to be on camera.
Yeah.
Which ones to call you?
Just call me Bean.
Bean. All right, because you know I could say all types of
You
names. And
know,
of course, we got
don't have people
we got the
call me
producer in the
Fatty.
back. No, I won't. That's why I asked. I was being respectful.
in the back, the producer.
Yeah. And I appreciate y'all tuning in. We got a lot of good stuff covered today. So until next time.
See ya.
This has been another in-house media recording.